Welcome to Between the Pipes with your hosts, Archie and Wade. Coming to you live from Ontario, Canada. Let's go!
What's up, guys, and welcome to another episode of Between the Pipes. We've had some extended time off. Life happens, things always happening day by day, but we're back for you guys tonight a little earlier than usual. This way it gives us some time to talk about all the stuff we've missed out on, and of course, so we can catch the game. Wade, how's it going, buddy?
Not bad, Archie. Good to be back. Obviously, we've had a couple of weeks off in a row, but it is wonderful to be back and talk hockey, which is what we love to do. So, I guess we'll kind of get started here. So we're talking about Brady Tkachuk captaincy. Archie, yes, I think me and you both called this from a long time ago. We're both Tkachuk fans. His dad was a beast in the NHL. He was a scorer. He was a fighter. He was an aggressive player. All the talent in the world in that 90s era, and 80s and 90s era, I guess. But man, what more can you say about Brady Tkachuk? I've loved the kid since he's come into the league, and I even remember watching Matthew Tkachuk come into the league in, I think, 2015 it was, and he was saying, I think his sophomore year, his little brother Brady's on the way up, and he's bigger and tougher than he is. And we were already like, holy shit, this Matthew Tkachuk kid is a different type of caliber of player. You know what I mean? He has skill. He'll drop the gloves. He's kind of a little bit of a pest. Matthew was everything a Canadian team kind of wanted, or a Canadian fan of hockey kind of wanted on their own team. So, I mean, I would always like to have a Matthew Tkachuk. And then lo and behold, Brady Tkachuk is drafted. And if I'm not mistaken, when Brady was drafted, Ottawa fans were a little on the fence about that draft pick because there was someone else they could have got. I can't put a name on it, but there was someone before or after Brady that Ottawa fans were like, oh, man, we got to pick this kid up or whatever. And they went with Brady, and they were kind of a little hesitant about it. Okay, this kid seems good, but this other guy could have been better. And, man, what a friggin' pickup for Ottawa Senators. This kid has everything going for him, man. I love the way he plays. He's already fought like some of the toughest guys in the league, and like captains too. Like, he has no problem dropping gloves with like guys with the likes of like Shea Weber or stuff like that, right? He gets in your face, and you can tell that he carries the heart. He's the heartbeat of that team, and he has been since he stepped on the ice for them. Even when Tim Stützle was drafted there, who took him in to come hang out and live in Ottawa before he could find a place? They're probably still living together as roommates, but Brady Tkachuk took him in, said, listen, you're going to come live with me, blah, 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 learn the ways. Don't forget, these guys have a lot, like the Tkachuk brothers have a lot of experience growing up with their dad being an NHLer. So that kind of leadership role, and that leadership role kind of is born and bred into those kids, you know what I mean? And their dad teaches them right away how to be a professional and how to act and the right things to say and what to stay away from. And that's why the Tkachuk brothers are the way they are. And I'm really happy for Brady, because even though I hate Ottawa, being a Leafs fan, I do fucking hate Ottawa. There's just something about him that grinds my gears. But at the end of the day, I'm really happy for Brady Tkachuk to be the captain of Ottawa. It was between him and Chabot. I like Chabot too, but Brady brings that extra fire in his belly and that extra aggressiveness towards winning and showing what it means to be a stand-up captain. So really happy for Brady. What are your thoughts on Brady Tkachuk grabbing the C from the Ottawa Senators and signing that 8-year deal? I mean, fan-fucking-tastic, man. So he's gonna be around for a while. What are your thoughts on Brady?
Yeah, I mean, you said it all. When it does come to that draft, so in that year, Svechnikov went number 1. I think, hold on a second. Rasmus Dahlin went number 1 that year. Svechnikov went number 2. Kotkaniemi went 3. Brady Tkachuk went 4.
Who went fifth,
So-
Archie? Do you know?
So fifth was Barrett Hayden. Now going further down is where it gets interesting because you've got Adam Boqvist, but you also got Quinn Hughes and Philip Zadina. So Quinn Hughes, I think, may have been the guy people thought they might have missed out on. Because if you look further down, there's nothing crazy impressive. But, I mean, the guys above him, Dahlin, Svechnikov, Kotkaniemi, they're good. Not going to lie, they're good.
Yeah.
But I don't think either of them have the edge that Tkachuk brings to the team.
No.
And definitely not the leadership and the hockey family, as you just mentioned as well, and the background that the Tkachuk family has. So I think this was a big thing for them, especially because there was rumors originally that he may be traded before they finally signed him and gave him the captaincy. It makes sense. The team itself isn't maybe doing the greatest right now, and they're being hit hard with the COVID bug.
Yeah.
Players dropping off steady. It seems like there's always something in Ottawa. There's always some sort of a distraction, something going on. Hopefully they'll get this whole COVID thing under control and we start to see a turnaround in the team. Not that I care, just like you, I hate the Sens just as much. As a Leaf fan, I feel like there's a pocket of teams that we just despise.
Yeah.
And I mean, the Habs are there, but my top hated team is Boston. I really hate Boston for several reasons, which many will agree. I actually feel bad for Montreal this year, in a sense, because we'll get to more after. But I mean, you lose Shea Weber, you lose Carey Price. There's the backbone of your team. You lose Kotkaniemi to that crazy offer sheet thing that happened with Carolina. So I feel like they lost a lot of their identity. They try to, they got Gallagher, who still tries to be a pain in everyone's ass, but the team's in trouble. We'll get into that. So Brady Tkachuk, captain, congratulations. Big contract for him as well. Well-deserved. And I think, he's going to be the face of the franchise. He's their Austin Matthews, if you want to call it. So good for him. Glad he's sticking around, and at least they were able to get that much done. And another big name that we were talking about, I feel like almost for a full year, Jack Eichel. Jack Eichel finally has a new home. I didn't think it would be Vegas. I honestly did not think Vegas would be the team he would end up in, but it doesn't surprise me either. They just somehow find a way to get everyone. What do you think? Good move, bad move? And of course, the obvious, did Buffalo get fleeced in that trade? Let's hear it.
You know what? Before I say my spiel on this, Archie, with who Buffalo has picked up and the trades and the acquisitions, whatever the cause, whatever the money was, what do you think of this deal first and foremost, man? I want to hear what your opinion is here.
So the NHL called it a blockbuster. And I think it was a blockbuster because it involved Jack Eichel, because everybody was waiting on where does he end up. Now, the deal in itself, I'm just pulling up the complete details of it here, was so Vegas gets Jack Eichel and a conditional pick from Buffalo. Makes no sense. And a conditional pick from Buffalo in exchange for Alex Tuck, Peyton Krebs, whatever, and 2 conditional picks going back. So Alex Tuck is a decent name to be going back. That Peyton Krebs, whatever his name is injured. And the 2 conditional picks, I'm assuming, are going to be based on performance, just like the same with the pick going the other way, based on when Eichel plays, how many games he plays, and what he may or may not do when he returns. So we knew the trade had to happen. And sorry, I step back for a second. It's Alex Tuck, who I believe is currently injured, not Krebs. So Tuck is currently injured. But, I mean, we knew Eichel was on his way out. I just thought Buffalo would have been smarter to get more out of him than what they did. Eichel's going to miss at least 2 to 3 months, give or take, I think, with if they do the surgery right away, which I'm assuming they're going to do because they're allowing him to do the original one he wanted, which is fine. I mean, Jack Eichel is he's going to come back, and when he comes back, I'm sure he's going to play just as good as he's capable of playing. And he's probably going to feel healthy and confident as crazy. But I think Buffalo got fleeced. I think they could have got way more from a team than what they got from Vegas. And considering now Buffalo's got, I'm going to say nothing. They're rebuilding again. I feel like for the 5th year in a row. I don't know what's going on there. But, yeah, I'm going with Buffalo got fleeced in the deal. Let's hear
it. Man. I can't believe that Jack Eichel wanted to get this fucking surgery done so long ago, and Buffalo prolonged it and wanted to do the rehab, and it didn't work out. And what a drama. I can't believe how much drama was over in Buffalo in the last year. Like, it's unbelievable, and it's unforgettable. It's unforgivable. Like, how do you have this player that is the captain of your team? You just named him captain a couple of years ago. He's your star franchise player. One of the only bright spots about Buffalo in the last 4 or 5 years, and this is before Buffalo Bills were even doing well, okay? But this is like the brightest spot of Buffalo that they had. And you go on and you treat your captain like shit. You should have just let him do the surgery before the summer started. It would have been over with now. Jack Eichel would have been captain of the Buffalo Sabres, playing fucking hockey right now, playing on this decent Buffalo team that's actually playing kind of well without him, and considering who Jack Eichel is and what they have on their roster down on paper. But I just think it's crazy. For what they got back, I mean, I thought when I first read the trade, I was like, Jack Eichel's gone. Okay, what's coming back? Like you said, Archie, Alex Tuch, okay, good player. He's a good player, right? But Alex Tuch is not anywhere near the caliber of fucking player of Jack Eichel. Neither is this Krebs guy. I don't even know who Krebs really is.
So Krebs was actually he was a first-round pick in 2019.
Who's this, Krebs?
Krebs, yeah. He's 20 years old right now. He was first-round pick in 2019 by Vegas, and he's played 9 games and is a -6 with nothing to show.
Okay.
So not much.
That being said, you got a first-round pick. You got a couple conditional picks or whatever. So you're basically rebuilding the franchise, and that's one of the reasons Jack Eichel left too. Not just because of the surgery, but because of the direction that the Buffalo Sabres were going, right? He came out, he sent in his interview. He said, listen, I talked to the management team and everything, and I felt that the direction they were going was another kind of fucking sharpened rebuild. And he's like, I want to win now. I'm not part of that. Plus, you fuckers didn't let me get my surgery that I've wanted to get so I could be 100% healthy and feel 100% focused on hockey and capable of my abilities to play. So, I mean, I think it's chaos, man. I think that Buffalo should have at least got a fucking first-round pick out of this too, and Alex Tuch and maybe Krebs. Like, something along the lines of that. Conditional picks, like, where are those going to land, bud? Where are those going to land for a team that's finishing top 6 or 7 in the league every year? You're going to get what? A first and second round at 25 and another one at 38 or 40. Like, who the hell knows what they're going to get? So horrible for Buffalo. Really good for Vegas. I mean, you look at Vegas, what they have locked down right now: Mark Stone, Pietrangelo, Jack Eichel, Marchessault. It just goes on. Like, they have a fucking really good team, man. And you know what I mean? In the next year, when Jack Eichel's healthy, especially, that team's going to be even scarier. So good on Jack Eichel to get the hell out of Buffalo. I mean, he can say all he wants to the media, Archie, about like he wanted to stay captain there and be there, but deep down, Buffalo is Buffalo. Like, exactly. It's probably one of the least favorite fucking NHL teams anyone really wants to go and fucking suit up for and skate for. So he's in Vegas is appealing, man. I can see why players would want to go to Vegas. It's hot. It's beautiful. There's a vibe in Vegas of happiness and fucking, bright. It's just like it's a whole other vibe in Vegas, man. So I get why players are seeing appeal to a place like that. As much as you want to play for original 16, maybe that would be the only other thing. But it's always nice to go play for those like LA's or San Jose's, Anaheim's, Vegas now. So that being said, I don't like the trade for Buffalo. And obviously Vegas, good on them. They're going to be looking like a fucking juggernaut once again, once Jack Eichel's healthy. I know they're going through a lot of injuries right now, but once they're all healthy, man, look out for Vegas, man, because I think just like Archie just said, when Jack Eichel comes back, he's going to come back 100%. And he's not going to come back at 95%. He's going to come back and beat Jack Eichel. And that's a very scary thing, especially because he's gotten bigger, stronger, mentally more fucking mentally he's better with the game of hockey and everything, obviously being in the league for so long, watching a lot of tape. So yeah, man, look out for Vegas. But Buffalo, you really dropped the ball, man. You guys are fucked.
Yeah, and I mean, so we were talking about the pick. So a couple of comments here from our viewers. So Daniel says they got a first round pick in the future. So I just looked it up. It's not necessarily. So it's a weird combination here. So if Vegas's first round pick from 2022 is not a top 10, the Sabres get that selection and a second round pick in 2023, while Vegas gets Buffalo's third rounder in 2023. Then, if the Vegas first round pick in 22 is a top 10, the Sabres get that first round pick in 2023 and a second round pick in 2024. And Vegas would get Buffalo's third rounder in 2024. Very confusing. It can turn into a first round pick if Vegas has a top 10 pick in 2022. I don't see that happening. I think Vegas is going to finish, again, as usual. They're going to make the playoffs. They'll finish higher up in the standings.
Yeah.
I don't see them getting a top 10 pick. Either way, I still think Buffalo got fleeced. They could have got more in return, but I'm glad to see Eichel's going elsewhere. He's finally out of the shitty city of Buffalo. Couple more comments here. I wasn't aware of this one. Thank you, Jennifer. Surgery was done today. They said it was successful. Either CJ Elliott or Elliot Friedman said that they're actually hoping he'll be ready for the Olympics, which is huge for the U.S. national team.
Well, here's the thing too, Archie. Remember, I think it was last show we were talking about that surgery being done, and I think I brought up there was a UFC or a UFC fighter or the NFL player that came out and he talked to Jack personally about the surgery, and he said within 6 weeks he was doing full 100% contact workouts. So that being said, let's just highball it and round it up to 2 months. You had the surgery today. The Olympics isn't until February. For hockey anyways, it won't start till February. So that's I think Jack Eichel can be skating probably by the 4th week and then taking contact by 6 or 7 weeks. You get a couple more weeks in skating with the team and look out. Even just having Jack Eichel on a power play without the stamina and without fucking his feet under him yet, having him on the power play is lethal, especially playing with Matthews and Kane. You know what I mean? Like, we'll see what happens, but it's gonna be really fucking interesting. But good, like I said, good for Eichel.
And he's gonna come out to play. He's gonna show up to prove a point that I got the surgery I wanted, and I'm back and better. Yeah. And I guarantee he's gonna be better because he's gonna be surrounded by much better line mates, I'm sure. So I'm actually excited for him. I'm excited to see how it turns out for him. Hope he has an awesome year when he does return. I can't say that I'm hoping for awesome results in the Olympics, obviously, because we want Canada to win.
Obviously.
They're going to be dangerous, though. The U.S. is going to be a dangerous team. This one stings a little. So, Steady Freddy has been more than steady in Carolina. Currently 9-1-0 record. 1.73 goals against average with a .939 save percentage and 1 shutout. Wow. Frustrating from a Leafs fan's perspective, I feel like we gave up on him, but I feel like we also gave how many chances? And again, though, this is regular season. We got to see how steady Freddie performs in the playoffs, right? That's always been his Achilles heel. But what a start. 9-1-0. What do you got to say there? I mean, I am a little shocked.
Archie, yeah, but you know this, and we've talked about this in the last couple of years. But like we've always said, Carolina and the New York Islanders are just those teams that will block shots, take hits, make hits, do the right thing, not get their defense don't get into trouble on those teams. They fucking make the quick pass, they get it off the glass. They do anything in order to fucking keep it out of their end. And they're just well-constructed teams, and especially Carolina. Carolina, from fucking their top center to their bottom six pairing D, is constructed in a way where every fucking player is playing at 110%, and they've bought into the system that Carolina's hockey team is. You know what I mean? And that's a hard playing hockey team, man. They all play for each other. They play for the city. And they have a little bit of something that Leafs fans have been wanting for a while. A brotherhood where you stand up for one another and you go out there and you try your fucking best every fucking shift. And you don't let anyone take the puck from you, and you go win fucking battles, you win hockey games. And that's what Carolina has built. That's why Carolina's been good the last few years. That being said, you put that kind of constructed team in front of a goalie like Freddie Anderson. We all know Freddie Anderson's a pretty good, and that might be an understatement. He's a great regular season goalie. Okay, mind you, Freddie Anderson's very injury prone. Okay, I'm happy for Freddie that he's doing well in Carolina right now. With the defense Carolina has and the structure that they play, it doesn't really surprise me, to be totally honest. I kind of knew he was going to do pretty well there. But like Archie just stated, come playoff time, we know what Freddie is. And we know hockey changes a whole lot. The style, the skill, the mentality, the physicalness of it, the physicality. That's what playoff hockey is, and it's a totally different game. And when he's facing those moments, I don't know if it's in his head or whatever it is, but Leafs fans know more than the last 5 years he's been on the team. We've made playoffs 4 out of 5 years since he's been on the team, and Freddie is good for a fucking flubber of a goal, at least one goal every playoff game. And that one goal can cause you a fucking series. And that's what the fucking issue with Freddie has been. Also, I will say the Leafs defense hasn't been the greatest prior to last year. We've had a lot before Brody, before Muzzin. We didn't really have a lot going for us, right? But we do have a good team now, and we have good defense. I think that the Leafs are ready for something. But staying on the Freddie topic, we'll see what happens. Like I said, I was a Freddie fan when he was here. I backed him up on a lot of shit. A lot of my buddies, a lot of people would always talk a little bit of shit about him. I was always kind of the one to stand behind him and say, listen, he's playing pretty well, blah, blah, blah. You know what I mean? I gave him the benefit of the doubt more than half the time. But we'll see. We'll see what happens in the playoffs. Carolina hasn't got over the hump of the playoffs yet, too. They're looking for a Stanley Cup. Is Freddie Anderson the one to take them there? I don't know. He looks good right now. But like I said, and like Leaf fans know, and me and Archie know very well, we know that he's definitely a regular season goalie and has not performed in playoffs. So we'll see what happens.
Yep. And another comment from Daniel here. Do you think that the fact Toronto lacked the blue line, he's now able to make more relaxed. He's now able to be more relaxed, not seeing as many shots. Yeah,
of course.
And Wade just mentioned that, right? Like the Leafs defense has been suspect. However, that being said, also like what Wade said, he's known to let in that shitty goal. The most common thing was with him the last, I'd say 3 seasons at least. Common with letting in that really early goal in a game on like the first 1 or 2 shots. The last seconds of a period, my God, it was the worst having the puck in our zone. Freddie, you knew, was so zoned in that sometimes he was over zoned in and just couldn't see the puck. I don't know, but those late goals used to kill us. They burned a lot. The early ones were killer. And it's just one of those things where he'll make 10 fantastic saves where he should have probably let one of them in. And then the one that beats him is like, come on. You can't blame the defense for all of them. I mean, we've seen it. And I feel like every team sees it when they lose a player. That player ends up better. It's not just the Leafs. The Leafs are under the microscope through us because we're Leaf fans. But we could talk about Hyman all day. We could talk about Freddie. We could talk about all the players that have left Toronto and done better. Alexander Steen, huge example of that.
Kessel, Bozak.
A lot. There's a lot of players. But that being said, we've also had that come in our favor as well. We've seen players do better when they came to Toronto. So every team has that regret when they make a move, but at the same time, sometimes you gotta make a move. We'll talk about it after, but I mean, Mitch Marner, everybody's on the case of Mitch Marner. Trade him. But it's like, do you know what he will do to Toronto if we trade him every time we play against him? He will destroy us single-handedly. So I'm happy with how he's been playing. He finally woke up, and boy, has he woken up. We'll touch more on the Leafs in a bit, but I mean, hindsight, right? Like, Freddie, I can't say it more. I still think as good as he's going to be during the season, we'll see come playoff time. I mean, granted, Carolina does make the playoffs. Looks like they're going in that direction. We'll talk then. We'll see how he does then. Until then, I'm not going to jump to any conclusions with him.
Hell no.
The Monsters in Edmonton. Connor McDavid and Leon Draisaitl. Arguably the best NHL duo right now. 50 points combined between the two of them over 12 games. Unfucking real. Leon Draisaitl, 12 goals, 14 assists. Connor McDavid, 9 goals, 15 assists. May already have scored the goal of the year, hands down against the Rangers, when he just
took it upon himself.
Yeah, like destroyed the Rangers all on his own. I could watch that goal all day long. I keep seeing replays of it, and it's just like, oh my God. So, man, Connor McDavid is Connor McDavid, but I feel like Leon Draisaitl is so not underrated, but it's like, I don't think people realize how good Leon Draisaitl is. McDavid is McDavid. We knew this, but McDavid also played hockey in Canada, went through our system here. Leon played overseas in the German leagues, got that experience out there. And I'm not knocking on the German league by any means. They are a strong league, but Leon Draisaitl is a lethal weapon to have on that team. Like, dangerous player to have. And the confidence, even when he speaks, I've gotten to see a little more of him when he's interviewing, taking a few jabs at McDavid and his fluffy slap shot. But Draisaitl deserves a lot more credit than he gets in Edmonton. I don't want to say he's in McDavid's shadow, but it almost feels like it's always Connor McDavid. But Leon Draisaitl, when Connor McDavid got hurt in the hockey last season and the years before that, Draisaitl has been extremely consistent in stepping up and taking on that role. So are you, like, I'm assuming you agree, these two are the best NHL duo out there, since some are arguing Lemieux and Yager days and Messier and Gretzky days.
Yeah.
What do you think?
Oh, 100%. There's no argument about that. There's no one in the NHL. Like, who could you compare to them? Rantanen or McKinnon or Marchand and Pasternak and Bergeron? Like,
yeah.
Even so, you can't.
Maybe Kane and Taves back in their day, but even then, I don't think they were as good.
Nothing like we've never seen something like this. I've never seen something like this. What Connor McDavid and Draisaitl do every night, especially just looking at my score app and my hockey apps and everything. Fuck, man. Every time I look, man, I just see Draisaitl, McDavid. It's like there's no stopping these guys. And the hype is real. Like, the hype has been on them for a while, but you're really seeing the complete package of Connor McDavid and Leon Draisaitl. And the scary thing is where is their threshold? Because they've elevated again this year. Where does that elevation stop? They are dynamite. Like, I don't even know how to explain these two. I'm going to go back to your comment just on Leon Draisaitl kind of being a little bit overshadowed, not really being as appreciated as Connor McDavid as an individual player, right? Here's the thing. It's easy to make those assumptions and easy to have that opinion because, let's face it, Leon Draisaitl plays with the best player right now in the whole entire world. He plays on the power play with him. He plays on a line with him. It's hard to see. The only way you're going to really see what Draisaitl brings, and I'd be actually surprised, and there's no way that I would ever want to see this happen, and I'm knocking on wood, but as if Connor McDavid had an injury and he was out for like 2 months or some shit, and Draisaitl had to take the reins of Edmonton to see almost like fucking when Crosby goes down and Malkin just comes through like 10 years ago and all of a sudden lights the lamp up and he's the best point getter scorer in the league. Is Draisaitl capable of that without McDavid? I'm not totally sold on it, but Edmonton fans, here's the thing. Edmonton fans are going to know much better than me and you, Archie, because they're watching their games every night. And I bet you an Edmonton fan would be on here right now and tell us they believe that Draisaitl could be an individual fucking star-studded talent on Edmonton, even if Connor McDavid wasn't playing. He's got the shot. He's got the lengthiness. He's got the moves in tight. He sees... The thing is, Draisaitl gets fucking open. He gets open like Ovechkin kind of gets open. They just find Matthews gets open. They push off defenders. They do that. They open it up, and then who do they have passing to them? The Connor McDavids of the world. You know what I mean? And I don't know, man, but this duo is something else to watch, and it's spectacular. I mean, Edmonton fans got to have a feeling of relief so far this season because obviously the last couple of years was like a dagger for them, right? Like Toronto thought you think Toronto has it bad. Well, Toronto started the rebuild in 2015. Edmonton started that rebuild in like 2009, 2010. They've been going through the motions waiting for something like this to happen. And obviously not talking about fucking, Edmonton's had their Wayne Gretzky's and fucking Messier's and all that jazz for years before and have won their cups. At least haven't had one in like 54 or 55 years. But that being said, Edmonton fans, their fan base, this generation has been waiting for something like this. And Puljujarvi scoring. Zach Hyman, what a fucking pickup from the Leafs for Edmonton Oilers fans. Edmonton Oilers fans love Zach Hyman, and I actually love seeing Zach Hyman, how happy he looks playing hockey right now. He looks like he's having a fucking ball. He is all over. He scored a beautiful fucking little toe drag cut to the front of the net backhand goal recently. I think he has like 7 or 8 goals. He has more goals than anyone on the Leafs right now. So
yeah, he's got 8.
What the hell is going on? Ryan Nugent-Hopkins looks like he's stepped up a bit too. Edmonton looks really good right now. I'm not sure what you have right after what we're talking about with the duo and if it's the best duo, but I know that it's up there, Archie. John Tortorella.
Torts. Yep, it was next.
What he said about McDavid. What are your thoughts on that quote? What are your thoughts on that statement by good old John Tortorella, who likes to stir up the fucking fire pot in the NHL?
So we know Torts. Torts doesn't hold back. He is a loose cannon. He's basically directing this at McDavid when it comes to McDavid's comments about officiating and about the team's playoff performance. So Torts comes out and says McDavid needs to change his game. In addition, he said he needs to shut up and play the game. So I don't know what Tortorella is trying to do here. I really don't. Apparently, McDavid's been very critical about the referees, and I don't blame him. As a Leaf fan, as a hockey fan in general, we've all seen it this year more than others in the past. The referees have been garbage, inconsistent with calls, and we continue to see it game by game. Horrible penalty calls, horrible non-calls. We've seen guys that should have been ejected from the game get like 2-minute penalties, and it's like, how? We've seen penalties get called on the wrong players. It's just been really bad. And I guess McDavid being McDavid, he's going to be critical. He's going to open his mouth. He's the leader of the team. And I mean, when it comes down to it, we've all seen what a game is like between, for example, Edmonton and Calgary. It's a bloodbath. It's a war.
Yeah.
It is one of the most exciting games to watch. And the refs got to be on top of it. If they're going to call the clutch and grab, the high sticking, the interference, hooking, if they're going to be so critical on that, they can't forget about the obvious boarding, charging, hits from behind that are not being called. There's been so many questionable hits already where it's like, I see them the next day and it's almost like, is it going to turn into soccer? Is it going to have to take a player to roll around on the ice and stay down for the refs to realize the severity of a play? I've seen somewhere, I don't even know how some of these players get up after being hit, but a great example was last night in the Montreal, I believe it was Montreal-Calgary game. Was it Montreal-Calgary? I think it was. Gallagher scores a goal, gets bowled over, like just from behind, head first. Toffoli comes in and takes out Goodbranson with his own hit from behind. Goodbranson goes flying. Brutal after the goal was scored. After the play, unbelievable. Both hits unnecessary. Goodbranson gets up, goes after Gallagher because he thinks Gallagher's the one that hit him, and Toffoli's just sitting there. You're going to throw a hit like that, don't be a bitch. Don't shy away and let Gallagher take it. Toffoli, I get why he did it, but it was an unnecessary retaliatory penalty. Should have been a penalty. Goes after the guy, cross-checks him hard. If Goodbranson had gone head first into the boards, it could have been bad. It could have been really bad. So, yeah, the hit on Gallagher was shit, but you know what? Gallagher kind of earned some of the hits that he gets against him because he's that guy. But I didn't like seeing Toffoli throw that hit and then kind of coast, just standing there kind of like, you threw that hit. Answer the bell. Goodbranson wants to know who hit him, answer that call. And he didn't. Yeah. So we've seen it. McDavid's frustrated. He's talking about the refs. I don't blame him. Tortorella says, shut up and play the game. He's got a point. Focus on the game. But why Tortorella seems to have targeted Connor McDavid at this point, I don't know. But I feel like he's changed his game. It looks like he's changed his game. What are your thoughts?
Before I lose my train of thought here, I just want to go back to right before what Tortorella said about McDavid. Did you hear what McDavid said about the power play unit and how it runs? Did you see that? Did you see that quote?
No, I didn't catch all of that.
So I just want to remind you, just as me and Archie are Leaf fans, obviously certain things and topics come out of nowhere once in a while, but this is one that just touched my just reached in and grabbed me by the fucking brain, and I had to tell Archie about it. But he said he was asked what's working for the power play right now. Like, you guys, your power play is unstoppable, blah blah blah. You know what that bastard said? He said, we don't really have a structured power play unit. We kind of just go with the flow and use our creativity and make it work like that. Now, that's not 100% quoted, but he said something right around the lines of that, and I was just like dumbfounded. I was like, did Connor McDavid just say that they have no structure on their fucking power play, that they just go with the flow and vibe together and try to get the puck to the net? Come on. Like, as a Leafs fan, I fucking almost rolled over and croaked when he said that, because our power play the last year and a half, prior to a couple of the last games, because obviously our power play is actually starting to score a little bit right now, but even the start of the first 10 games of the year, like, and all of last year, where was our power play? You have Tavares and Matthews and Nylander and Marner on the fucking power play, and we're not scoring goals, and we're giving up the puck in the neutral zone, and we're making stupid passes and not shooting the puck in good opportunities. And I'm just like, what the hell? And just for McDavid to say that, I was just kind of dumbfounded. I couldn't believe it. And it just goes to show what some of the best players in the world, what their mentality is. Like, it's almost like a fucking video game, like with McDavid and Draisaitl and that power play. I just wanted to say that. Now, Tortorella, I get it. Okay, I totally get it why he said what he said. And there's one more thing I want to talk to you about. It's in regards to referees. But I do get what Tortorella said, because he did say, McDavid needs to grab a little bit more of that playoff aggression, and that killer instinct kind of mentality. And you need to think, we're not going to put the puck in the net every night or offensively gifted or anything. You need to play fucking head down, go into the boards, blah, blah, blah. He was kind of referencing like how he thought Ovi would never win a cup because of his style of play. Well, Ovi in the last, since he's won that cup, changed a lot of the style of play. He was coming back more, back checking more, playing a lot more defensively, and then just obviously ripping fucking goals still. But he played a more defensively inclined game. And I guess that's what Tortorella's saying, because he knows that we all know in playoffs is different hockey. And Edmonton might not be able to throw fucking pucks at the net and score as much as they are during the regular season, because playoffs is a whole different animal. I get what Tortorella's saying, but it's also McDavid and Draisaitl. And playoffs, it's up to those players as individuals and that team to amp it up and do that extra lap on the ice and get back and do that extra home stretch and burn out the legs on a 5% tank of gas just for that last play to get a puck deflected or get your stick on someone or make that last hit before you go to the bench. I get that. You know what? Every player's growing. Connor McDavid's only 25 years old or whatever. And Draisaitl's the same age as him, or so. They're around the same age. So they're growing, they're learning, and playoffs will be playoffs for the Edmonton Oilers. And I think that them losing and what they've been through in the last little while only fires them up to be a better team and to have that killer instinct and that it factor. So we'll see what happens, just like I hope that the fucking Leafs do. Before we move on, Archie, talking about referees, what the hell did you think about that goal that we scored when Tavares was pushed and the fucking, I forget who pushed Tavares, but he was pushed and the fucking net came off before the puck entered and the puck barely passed the red line and they called it a goal. Like, I don't think I've ever seen anything like that. Right away, I was like, okay, they're not going to call it a goal. It might be a penalty for delay a game on Bergeron or whoever did that to him. But I thought for sure they weren't going to call that a fucking goal just because the fact the net was off. And it was off for a good second and a half or so before the puck came across. So automatically, to me, that's a blown down whistle. That play's dead now. What are your thoughts on the ref coming out and calling that a fucking goal? I was just like, I didn't even really understand the rules.
So it's funny you mentioned that because I was just as confused. I thought for sure it's not going to be a goal. The net's off. Done deal. Doesn't matter if the puck crossed the line. The net's off.
Yeah.
Right? Somewhere at some point, the rule changed. Or maybe the way they enforce it or interpret it changed, because I know for a fact that over the years, I have seen many goals not count because the net came off. In some cases, even just the net lifting off the moorings, the pegs still being in, but the net being lifted, the goal was disallowed.
Exactly.
So I'm just as confused as you are. And when they explained it, I was even more confused. So the explanation was because the opposing player caused the net to come off, the puck was on its way into the net, the goal counts. I kind of agree with it because otherwise you'd have players doing it all the time. We've seen goalies do it. Fuck this. Lift the net off, take the chance, whatever. Take a penalty shot. At least it's not a goal.
Yeah.
But, one of the most confusing plays because I thought for sure if any call is going against Toronto, it's this one. They're not going to count it. And when they counted it and they explained it, I said, hey, I'll take it. But, man, is that an unclear rule? Because just moments before, we kind of almost saw the same thing happen against the Leafs where the net got knocked off and there was a penalty called on a play. So it's weird because the rule was because the puck was going in regardless and it was the opposing player that lifted the net off.
Yeah.
it's almost like a penalty shot on a breakaway on an empty net. If you take a guy down, it's a goal. They award the goal. So almost as confusing a rule. But I mean, like I said, I'll take it. But yeah, that was a head scratcher. And there was another head scratcher just after that with the kick, no kick. We'll talk a little more about that when we get into our Leafs conversations.
Yeah, this kick and no kick thing is tripping me out too, man. Like, I have no idea what the fuck is going on anymore. Because sometimes there's not a kicking motion at all, and they'll still call it a fucking goal that was kicked in. But there's no movement of a kick. And you know what, Nylander. Did you see Nylander's recent goal when it went off the skate?
That's the one I was talking about.
He directed it in, but as the puck was in the air, you could see his toe kind of lift up just the tiniest little bit. Like, he fucking kind of like directed it in with a kick. Like, I don't even know, man. So, and it was a good goal. So I don't know what the hell's going on, because yeah, it hit him right on the top of the skate. It did. Like, there was kind of no way around it. Like, he was going hard to the net. He didn't like turn his foot or anything. It was, his skate was in that exact position. But then when they slow it right down, you see this little tiny tilt of the toe. And I'm just like, that is, you know what I mean? Is that like, is it kicking motion from the bend of the knee now? Or is it from the ankle, like the rotation of your ankle, like what you can do with it? Can you go up, down, side to side? Like, dude, I am dumbfounded, dude. I don't know.
Well, so this is it. There was definitely a lift in the foot. The foot came off the ice. They're specific. And the thing that's crushing that decision each time is the word distinct in the description of kicking motion. So yeah. Not only is it a kicking motion, it has to be a distinct kicking motion. So there has to literally be a sweep of the leg, a sweep of the foot. Anything else will be deemed a redirection, a deflection, call it whatever you want. So what they're calling that was a redirection by his foot, because he did not swing at it with his foot. There was no distinct swinging kick motion. So that's what they're basing it on. However, we've seen some that were definite kick in. And they
like I think it was a Montreal goal, right? There was a Montreal goal where he kicked it in. There was a distinctive kicking motion, and they called it a fucking goal, right? I'm like, what the fuck is going on here? Anyways, I don't know, man. The NHL's got to they got to get their shit together. And that brings us right back to what you were just saying, talking about the referees. Right? Connor McDavid complaining about referees, the fucking Players Association complaining about the referees, because, dude, the referees are making some bad fucking calls, man. You know what I mean? I don't even know, man. Like, this stick checking right now too it's crazy. I don't like, are you not even allowed to tap someone on the top of the fucking, like, it used to be within the vicinity of the hands. Like, if you're like an inch or two away from the hands, but you're up in that area and you give a little tap or a whack up there, then you were getting called for it. And that was only implemented like within the last like 3 or 4 years. Before, it was a total whack on the hands, and you had to like lose control of the puck, or you had to pull someone's hand. It had to be kind of distinctive, right? Like, it had to. But now I've seen a couple of plays in the league where a player's behind, but he has control of the puck or whatever. The player is about a foot down, like halfway on the stick, and gives a fucking love tap, and the refs are calling it. So I'm like, you can't even stick check anymore. Like, I don't even know, man. So that's a different one too. But man, things are changing. The game's getting quicker. They're loving calling these penalties. You know why? Because people like scoring, and people get excited about power plays and penalty kills. Whatever makes the game more entertaining and more exciting is what hockey is going to go towards. Because hockey, at the end of the day, it is a sport, but it is also an entertainment, right? So they're trying to make it as fascinating and as stand on the edge of your seat entertaining as possible. That's why all these little calls are being made now, because they want people in the box, I think, anyway, to fucking have these power play opportunities and more goals in the net. I don't know.
And just to add a little more to that, and I'm going to say Leafs because that's the games we watch the most of, that 3-0 game against Philly, Michael Bunting got called on penalties twice that it's like, are you fucking kidding me?
Yeah.
The one where I think it was Couturier, it was like a leg on leg. Like it was almost like body contact, a light check.
Yeah.
Poirier loses his footing and falls, and Bunting gets a penalty.
Yeah.
And then there was another one, tripping, where he tripped over his own feet trying to get away from Bunting. Just mind-blowing. Mind-blowing. I think, man, there has to be... You may not want to do it as a coach's challenge, but I feel like there has to be somebody watching in those offices in Toronto. Expand the offices league-wide, but there's got to be somebody watching when they got to look at it and be like, well, hold on a second. Make that call down to the ice. Listen, you fucking blew it. That's not a problem. He tripped over his own feet because a stupid call like that, I get mistakes happen. Refs don't see everything based on the angle they're at, but it can be costly, especially if you're playing a team like the Edmonton Oilers, who've got a deadly power play. You're giving them a goal, and that's not right. It'll change the complete outcome of a game. It's just garbage, like absolute garbage. And again, it all stems down to the refs, and what you said makes sense as well. The league, Gary Bettman has always said he wants to see more goal scoring. Speaking of that, our next topic, Alexander, the goal scoring machine, Ovechkin, 22 points in 13 games, 25 goals away from third place all time, where he will knock Jaromir Jagr down. And the only two players remaining ahead of him will be Gordie Howe and Wayne Gretzky. He'll do it this season. There's no way he doesn't pass Jagr. I honestly don't think there's a way that he doesn't pass Jagr. Even if he solidifies himself as the third all-time and doesn't end up passing Howe or Gretzky, this is something we talked about last time too, that no other NHLer, I don't think, will ever come close to conquering. Even McDavid, even Sidney Crosby, even whoever you want. I don't think anyone's going to have it just because of the longevity. McDavid's 24. I mean, if you give him another, maybe I'll be generous and say 15 years of NHL play, it's a lot of goals. Definitely a lot of goals. But I don't think he's coming close. So Ovechkin just keeps doing Ovechkin. Like, I did not expect him to come out the gate like this. 22 points in 13 games. The guy scores from everywhere. It seems like nobody in the NHL still understands you got to double team the guy. You cannot let him float around that faceoff circle. The puck's going in. If he unloads from the faceoff circle, it's going in. So nobody seems to know how to defend that. My thing is you sacrifice the extra guy and you put two on him, and that's how you stop Ovechkin. Otherwise, you're not stopping him. He's doing big things, man. What do you think?
Yeah, we're seeing the Alex Ovechkin from like a decade ago right now. Just a complete player, a superstar of the league. I mean, it's like you woke up a giant or something right now, and he's just right back to being 25 years old, playing fucking unbelievable, incredible fucking hockey. You know what I mean? The skill is there. Ovechkin, like Archie just said, man, everyone knows where that fucking shot's coming from every given night. Exactly when it's going to be utilized on the power play, and he just seems to make the fucking play every time. And even when he doesn't shoot the puck, he's making fucking incredible thread the needle passes to whoever he needs to pass to. You know what I mean? And right now, take into consideration that Backstrom's not even playing. TJ Oshie hasn't been playing. They're missing a few fucking of their juggernaut fucking core guys. And it's basically fell on Ovechkin, Kuznetsov, and John Carlson on that power play. And they're still doing incredible things. Let's just get real here. Ovechkin is the greatest goal scorer of this generation. Of the last 20 years,
hands down.
Of the last 30 years, he's the best goal scorer. I mean, until Gretzky retired or whatever. So let's say 20 years. But he is a generational talent, and he's still going. He's still hot. He's still young enough to make a fucking dent into the Gretzky record. Don't know if he's going to fucking get there, but even if he does it, what an incredible feat and what an incredible accomplishment if he even passes Yager for third all time. Don't forget, Gordie Howe's up there with that record. Gordie Howe played hockey till he was in his 50s, for fuck's sakes. You know what I mean? Like he had a lot of time. He had a lot of 60 minutes fucking games. He had a lot of minutes added up on ice. So if Ovechkin passes him, then it's just like, if Ovechkin passes Gordie, which I already think that
he will.
I think that Ovechkin is the second greatest goal scorer of all time already. Before Yager, before Howe, he is definitely the second best goal scorer ever. If he passes Gretzky's record, I still don't think he's the best goal scorer ever. I don't think he ever will be. He may break the record, but even me and Archie were talking a couple shows ago, and Archie brought up, it doesn't matter because the games played that fucking Wayne Gretzky got that record in isn't even comparable to how many games it's going to take Ovechkin to fucking surpass that record. So that being said, Wayne Gretzky will always be the greatest goal scorer, the greatest player ever in the NHL. I don't think anyone will ever come close, but Ovechkin for the goals scored is definitely second on the list already. It's incredible, and enjoy it now, because in the next 5 years' time, 5 years flies by very fast, and soon fucking Ovechkin will be sitting back retired, and you'll see little Ovechkin Jr. probably in the fucking coming up in the leagues in another fucking 10, 15, in another 10, 12 years. You'll be hearing him as a 14, 15, 16-year-old kid who is the spawn of friggin' Alex Ovechkin and is going to come in as a number one overall pick. I bet you. We'll see what happens. Good on Alex Ovechkin. I didn't take him in fantasy this year, and I've had him on probably in the last 10 years of my fantasy hockey. I've had him on about 4 or 5 of my teams. I think I passed him to take who did I take? Actually, no. I took Draisaitl. So I'm doing okay.
You're doing all right.
But holy hell, man. Ovechkin, man. What a fucking incredible year he's having. I hope he keeps it up. I still like Washington. They're an older kind of vetted team, but they can still do damage. And you never know what those older core groups that still have that skill and that drive to win Stanley Cup. They could potentially be a front runner to win a Stanley Cup if everyone's healthy on that team and Ovechkin's playing the way he's playing, right?
Yeah, and just to put things into perspective, he's 60 goals away from tying Gordie Howe. So he's got, what's that deal he signed? 8 years? 9 years?
No. I don't think he signed that long. I thought he signed a 5-year deal.
I feel like it was a long, stupid deal. Oh, sorry. It was 5 years, 9.5 million. So yeah. So he's got 5 years to score 60 goals. Probably going to do it.
Fuck yeah.
Probably going to do it.
Well, now, don't forget, he's probably going to score another fucking 30 this year.
Yep.
And then he's going to be halfway, and you'll definitely score 30 next year, given he's healthy. Knock on wood for him. But
now to catch Wayne, he's got to score another 153. Puts a little pressure on him. I mean, it's possible. As much as I hate to admit, it's possible.
It's 40 goals a season for the next 5 years, basically.
It's doable. I don't think he's going to do it, but it's doable. But I don't think he's going to do it.
Yeah.
And we're not even talking, that's just goals. Like, even if he were to touch the goal one, he won't come anywhere close to the overall point totals.
Oh, hell no.
He's at 2,857 points. Ovi is currently at 1,342. So
isn't that fucking
insane.
Incredible, man?
Insane.
He's fucking still more than doubled in points.
Yeah.
Gretzky.
And he did it in 1,487 games where Ovi's already at 1,210. So he's got 270 games to play to score 1,500 points. No chance. So, I mean, good for him, though. I do hope to see him hit that number 2 mark. He definitely deserves to be up there in that number. He's great at number 3 right now, or probably number 3 once he takes out Yager.
Yeah.
But they don't call him Alexander the Great 8 for nothing. he's definitely living up to the name in Washington. And like you said, in our generation of NHL, I was lucky enough to see Gretzky play in his later days. Obviously not around or not watching hockey when he was in his prime with Edmonton. But most of his records that he wrote and broke were as a LA King. So, I mean, I never got to see Gretzky win a cup. I mean, he won them after I was born, but I wasn't watching hockey when I was 3. So, crazy numbers, crazy stats. It'll happen, I'm sure. I just, as a Gretzky fan, I hope he doesn't touch the Gretzky record. But if it happens,
I hope he does. I hope he doesn't. I hope he doesn't get it either. I think he's cool as a solidified number 2 goal scorer of all time. We'll keep him right there. You got to keep Gretzky on top because Gretzky will go down in the history of NHL and the infinite fucking time of however long it's going to be. Gretzky will always be the number 1 fucking hockey player ever to play the game. So,
absolutely. And moving on to Carey Price. So it's been 30 days, a little more, that he shocked the world with his entering the player assistance program. Kept it very quiet, didn't say anything to anyone. It was kept extremely hush. People assumed, people thought, but nobody knew until Carey Price came out and said what happened. So I believe it was you who said something along the lines of pain-killing meds perhaps being the cause. So it was revealed that substance use was the leading factor in Carey Price entering the NHL's assistance program. He's back with the team. However, there's no date set for him returning. Like they haven't even given a window. It's just he's with the team. He's out of the program. The minimum is 30 days when you check in, so he had to spend the full 30 days in there. But he's out, has admitted to substance use. Interesting how they didn't use the word substance abuse, just that it was substance use related.
Yeah.
So it could have been he wasn't, getting high or anything, but he was maybe having a hard time letting go. Which, good on him for getting the help that he needed. Cleaning up. Outside of hockey, the man's got a wife, he's got kids, he's got a family. So not exactly an old dude either. So, I mean, good on him for accepting that and getting the help that he needs. Hopefully this helped him. Hopefully it pushes him through and that we don't see this be the beginning of the end of Carey Price. Hopefully we see him bounce back to the Carey Price that Montreal fans would love to see, and just hockey fans in general, Canadian fans, anybody who loves the game. Carey Price is unquestionably one of the best goalies in the world. So, I mean, glad to see that he's out, got the help he needed, and hopefully we see him back on the ice doing what he loves the best. I'm sure you want to say something about this as well.
Yeah, it's too bad what's kind of unfolded in Montreal in the last year and a half. First of all, you had Jonathan Drouin kind of go into the program, the Players Assistance Program last year. Missed that whole playoff run, missed everything. Came back this year. I think he's injured right now. But then all of a sudden, Carey goes into it. Like you said, there's use and abuse, and they're very definitive words. So like Archie stated, I do believe that he wasn't, trying to get lifted and high and whatever. I think, he just had some kind of maybe some painkillers or something that he was using, but he was dependent on whatever he was using. And the thing is, we don't really know what it is yet. They haven't really disclosed the information. Could have been some anxiety medicine. Could have been anything, right? Something to help mentally. And maybe he was really feeling pretty low about having to rely on something like that. And that causes a whole bunch of stuff mentally and physically that I don't know nothing about. So I can't really comment on it too much, but all I know is that Carey Price is Carey fucking Price, and Canadians, the Habs fans are paying the fucking price this year, not having him in net. And also, I just really hope he's healthy and he comes back stronger than ever, because the Olympics are around the corner, and I would love to see a healthy shutdown Carey Price in between the pipes for Team Canada this year. So if it's not him, I don't know who Team Canada goes with. Fleury, Carter Hart. I'm not sure. Fleury hasn't had a great start. Who?
Bennington,
Fleury, Carter Hart. It's a crapshoot. I don't know who the hell they're going to take. But if Carey comes back healthy and starts putting together some wins and looks unstoppable, and we'll see what happens. But I hope the best for Carey Price. As Archie mentioned this at the beginning of the show, as far as rivalries go and what franchises deal with and everything, I also do feel for Habs fans, and not so much Habs fans, for the Habs organization, because hey, they're original six and they've been around the league. Without the Habs, there's no Leafs. You know what I mean? Like, Habs are one of the biggest parts of hockey history and are present to this day. It's just an unbelievable place to play hockey for anybody. The Canadians are a dream for children all around the world, even little kids growing up in Toronto. If you were able to put on a fucking Habs sweater and wear that fucking history on you, it would be incredible. And it just sucks what they're going through as a franchise right now. Like Archie said, you lost the backbone of the whole team, Weber and Carey Price, your captain and your other captain. They're the glue that's held the Habs together as long as they have. And to not have both of them in at the same time, and to go to a cup final last year and come out and perform the way that they started, that's why I mean the organization. Because man, the Habs fans this year, I was talking to a couple of them, they had their shit to say. Trust me. I've had my run-ins with a couple of fucking friends that are Habs fans, couple neighbors, and I heard it. You know, the very first couple games, even though the Habs didn't win a game yet at that point. Oh, the Leafs suck, blah, blah, blah. The Habs, oh, what did you guys do last year? This and that. But, hey, as the organization goes, man, fuck, you always want to see the Habs do, like, decent so that they're a fucking good, fun team to watch coming into the league and trying to gain some playoff momentum. So we'll see what happens. But Carey Price, I hope you're back for the Olympics. That's my last touch on that.
Absolutely. We'll touch a little on this one. It's a tough topic to talk about, but I mean, I feel like it's got to have some sort of discussion. I've been following this since the beginning. Kyle Beach. It's almost like a 3-party war now between Beach, the Blackhawks, and the Players Association, their union. I knew it was going to get worse before it gets better, if it gets better. I don't know that I could even say it'll get better. But we knew this was going to blow up at some point. It definitely has. And there continues to be more and more what the fuck moments as I hear more and more about it. We saw his on-screen interview last week. Very emotional interview. Very tough one to watch. And now the ugly starts, like that was really ugly, but now the media frenzy starts. Now it's out in the open. There's going to be more coverage around it because now they know who everyone knew as John Doe is. So now we know it's Kyle Beach, and now it's going to settlement, right? Like, this is where the ugly starts with lawyers and who's got more money. And obviously the Blackhawks organization and the NHL have a lot more money than Kyle Beach does. But it's not even about money, but I mean, this is where this is going now. So it's already getting rocky. I was just reading about it earlier, saying that his lawyer, Susan Loggins, has said that she's disgusted by the Hawks' lack of fair play with the recent handling of this whole lawsuit. 2 weeks ago, when everything was kind of confirmed and the investigation was launched officially, a lot of the details came out regarding what happened to Beach in 2010, resulting in Stan Bowman gone. We saw Joel Quenneville, not even with the Chicago organization anymore, step down from being the head coach of one of the best franchises in the NHL right now that kind of shook things in Florida. And there was still always player 2 that has not been identified. But now recently I read that they're not willing to offer what they're offering Kyle Beach when it comes to getting the help and assistance and financial aid from the NHL, which I found to be quite disturbing. It's almost like they're pushing player 2 aside, saying, hey, listen, Kyle Beach came out. This is what we have to do. You don't want to identify yourself. This is what you're not going to get. I don't like that at all. We don't know who the second player is. We don't know if we ever will know who the second player is. But the actual thing that was, I'm reading here, the counseling payment promise. So it says the Hawks promise to pay for all of Kyle Beach's reasonable past and future medical and counseling expenses relating to the sexual assault. They originally offered the same to what they're calling John Doe 2, who is a former Michigan high school student that was also assaulted in 2013. And now, since then, the mother of this person has come out and said the NHL will no longer be providing it. They've stepped back on that offer, which is ridiculous. And it's unfortunate. I still have lost a shit ton of respect for the Blackhawks entire organization. I'm still blown away by the fact that Jonathan Toews still hasn't flat out said he knew about it. He says he learned about it the following season at training camp. As a captain of the team, I'm pretty sure you were at the bar when they were all partying and shit, and when the players were making fun of him, and when he was being teased. Don't give me that shit. You're the fucking captain. You know what's going on. You know exactly what's going on. Even if he didn't. Patty Kane, you knew what was going on. But like I said before, and I'll say it again and again, if the marketing department of the team, which is completely detached from the ice staff, from the team members, training, coaching, and all that shit, if they knew about it in the marketing department, Jonathan Toews knew. Patrick Kane knew. Seabrook, all those veteran leaders of that team knew what was going down. Eyes on the prize is what they went with. That's what they stuck with. And unfortunately, it was the wrong decision. They've scratched off the name of Aldrich from the Stanley Cup. It's a move. It's a step in the right direction. Personally, I think that entire Chicago Blackhawks team should be removed from it. I mean, you can't take away they did win the cup. They earned it from a playing standpoint. But morally speaking, and especially with the NHL, hitting on this whole hockey is for everyone. We see it now with the PK Subban commercial, which I love. I love that commercial, where it kind of goes through a bunch of things that are said and slurs and whatever, and he taps the desk and it says, this is where we belong. It is. Hockey's for everyone. There should be no reason for it. 2010 wasn't exactly that long ago. So there needs to be more done, I think. I don't like it. I don't like the topic. I really don't. But I just think more needs to be done. And I don't think Chicago has taken the accountability that they should as an organization. And the union, the NHLPA, I think also has some explaining to do. And I think this is the time where they need to reevaluate, just because they need to reevaluate Gary Bettman as the commissioner of the NHL, because I think he also had a part in this that kind of brushed it under the carpet until it came out to light. And I think this is where they got to turn a new leaf, get a new commissioner in, fresh start is the only way this is going to go better. It's not going to fix anything, but I think it's the only way it's going to go better. Long-winded, I know, but I'm just very passionate about this topic. What do you think of it all?
Honestly, Archie, I don't have much to say, because I'm in total agreement with you and everything that you just said. So it's unfortunate what happened. 2010 isn't long ago. Just over 10 years ago, man. And this guy had to deal with all that. I don't like the fact that that he feels himself that all the players knew about it, coaching staff, whatever, and they were fucking poking and jabbing jokes at him and shit like that. it's just uncalled for. It's really sad. It's a really sad situation to put someone in that mental state of, man, like you've seen his interview. It was man, it was something else. I've never really seen a sports interview like that before come out. And I like what you said about Gary Bettman there. I don't like the fact that Gary Bettman hasn't, like, why is he the one sitting down with Kevin Cheveldayoff and Joe Quenneville and all this shit? Like, you're telling me as the commissioner of the NHL that you had no idea about these allegations? You're telling me that you didn't hear no word about it and that you never brought light and shine light on it or anything? Like, I don't know, man, but it just seems kind of fucking fishy to me about what's going on here. And I don't really like it at all. And like you said, I think that we were at the tip of the iceberg, obviously, with Kyle Beach identifying himself and everything that's going on. But yeah, we're still working our way down and getting the full story and everything after that comes with it, with all the legal stuff going on right now. So I just hope that it all works out for Kyle Beach, because from what he's had to endure over the last 10 years and what he's had to live with. And I'm pretty sure the Blackhawks organization and the players and management over there have lived with it too. You know what I mean? And that's a horrible thing, because I think that everyone's kind of had a little part in this, and they've known deep down that one day there was going to be a light shined on this, and it was going to come down the fucking pipeline and be exposed to what it is now. And there's no place in the world for any of this kind of shit. And I mean, you heard about the Epstein stuff recently. Hollywood, I think it was 2017, where Hollywood actors and actresses and big directors and people in that industry were just getting, every fucking day it seemed like the news was all over these sexual misconduct allegations and harassments and rapes and whatever, you name it. And there's predators out in the world, and there's people that don't know right from wrong. There's people that the world's a scary place, and unfortunately, when you're in command of something so big like the Blackhawks, and you're in charge, and you feel like you can get away with it, whatever the fuck you want, it's what happened. And we're trying to bring this to light. Kyle Beach is trying to bring this to light so that it never fucking happens again. And I'm glad that he's come out, and we support him. Everyone support him. And obviously, if you don't, then you're just a fucking idiot and an asshole, and go hang yourself. But, those are horrible, cruel words. But hey, man, we're human beings, and we have feelings and hearts and souls. And it's all about positive energy and happiness. And there's no place in the world for that kind of shit. So I knew we were going to get to this topic and talk about it a little bit. Like I said, I totally agree with everything Archie said and everything. I just wanted to throw in a 2 cents of what I thought about the situation. But yeah, good for Kyle Beach coming out, and we'll see what happens in the next. I don't know how long it's going to take, Arch, but I'm definitely thinking it's going to take within the next year. So we'll see what happens.
And Jennifer mentions here, Bettman's quote was along the lines of, "That wasn't an NHL issue." Exactly. Like,
don't ask if you don't. When it happened, the kid never would have been raped. This is on you and every other person. Yeah, 100%, man. And I don't like the fact that Gary Bettman, like I said, Jennifer, I don't like the fact that he's the one doing these interviews and sitting down and kind of being the voice of reason and the judgment kind of guy here. And you know what I mean? Like, it's not his courtroom. He's not the judge here. I think that he's one of the fucking people that was on the inside of this thing, that knew about it. Obviously wasn't on the inside where he was in it, you know what I mean? Or within the organization messing around or knowing about it. But if he did know about it right there, that's a crime too, especially when you're the commissioner of the NHL. You got to know better. And who knows, some more investigations and a couple little paper trails down the road, maybe there will be something that pops up in a computer or some paper trails saying that Bettman did know about this, or he has some quotes and everything on the matter. And boy, a lot of people would like to see that guy get fired regardless of him being a part or shoving something under the rug like this. So we'll see what happens. Yeah, I don't know. There's so much changes going on all the time, and when something as big as this happens, and especially because this player shined light on it 10 years ago, and it got shoved under the rug like nothing. That's the part that really bugs everyone the most, and myself the most, is he brought it to light thinking that something could get done. He was probably at a really low spot in his life for him to even come out and give these allegations and make the statements. And yeah, to like he said, he felt like no one when they won the cup, and they kind of just shoved it under the rug, and they didn't do an investigation on it. And it was just like, okay, I guess it's okay just to deal with how I dealt with stuff, and that, you know what I mean? So I'm rambling on now too, man. We'll get off the topic, but it's just horrible, and it's going to be an ongoing investigation. I hope that justice is served in every aspect of this. So we'll see what happens.
And it's unfortunate and sad to say, but I'm going to say it. If this was Jonathan Toews and not Kyle Beach, this would have been handled differently. You can't hide that. This would have been handled differently. It would have been handled then, and people would have been fired. Shit would have hit the fan, because it was Jonathan Toews or Patrick Kane. Because Kyle Beach is not
Archie,
an NHL player, I think nobody gave a shit.
Let me just put this in your head here, and I'm pretty sure you've thought about this, but I don't know, man. Maybe Kyle Beach wasn't the only one. You have a fucking predator like that. That's obviously did it to a 16-year-old in college or high school or whatever the hell he did, right? I mean, predators like this, they don't just do it to one guy. For all we know, there's a couple guys on that team that this happened to, and they've kept their mouth shut or made a fucking deal behind doors with him or something along the lines of that. And quite frankly, who knows? Maybe Jonathan Toews, quite possibly. You never know. Behind closed doors, you don't know what's going on. Anyone on that team could have been dealing with something that Kyle Beach dealt with. And no one else would know about it, and they might keep their mouth shut until they're in a casket. They'll bring it right to the grave. I don't know, man. It's just, you know what, you have to give credit to Kyle Beach, because if there was other guys on that team or in the organization that dealt with any of this shit, Kyle Beach was the one that did the right thing and stepped up and exposed himself in the worst way possible for himself, but in a better light. He had to do it, but he exposed himself and put a headline above himself, and you know what I mean? Unfortunately, that's the way it goes, and everyone's supporting him, and I'm happy that he did it, but you never know who he's helping out down the line for other victims and other people that have dealt with this. He's the voice. He's the power that people need. So good on him for doing what he did, man. And totally, not all heroes wear capes, and this is a very heroic fucking thing for Kyle Beach to have done this, for sure.
And that's the thing that burns more for anybody who is not aware of this. After 2010, he left the Blackhawks organization, whether he was pushed out, whether they said, hey, you got to go, what happened, you got to go kind of thing. He goes and gets a job in Michigan with a university. He gets a job with a university where he received a reference and a recommendation from the Chicago Blackhawks organization. And what happens in 2013? He does 9 months in jail after sexual conduct with a 17-year-old, a fucking 17-year-old kid. The Blackhawks pushed him out of their organization into the Lions' Den. They pushed him to work with kids. And then he gets 9 months in jail after he was found guilty. So you're telling me that
you knew about the allegations as a franchise, and investigators, and you threw them to a fucking college or high school.
Threw him to kids. And,
to kids.
And you said it.
It's so wrong.
Like that is a monster. They don't change.
It's so wrong.
And the worst part is
how kept secret was this? You know what I
Exactly.
mean? Like, how on your resume or on your portfolio or in any documents or profile when you're hired, is there not a big fucking red flag that says, listen, there's some allegations here on this guy. Maybe it's not the best idea to hire him. Was that all erased? Was that all invisible? Like, I don't know, man. Yeah, Archie, that's really fucked up. It's really
Right.
messed up.
And the thing is, he resigned voluntarily from the university in 2012 with no notice. He gave a letter effective immediately. I'm out. In 2012. In 2013, he was charged. So he knew what he did. He knew what was coming. He tried to run away from there, and it didn't work. So the Chicago Blackhawks organization is to blame. This is, you let a person, a monster that you knew did what he did, and you gave him another job closer to people he should not be close to. So you recommended this guy. How do you recommend that? How do you recommend a person like this for any job in the future? I don't know. It blows my mind. There's so much more to this all, and
you know what, ART,
mind.
like what outside of like hockey chatter and everything, you know, when it comes to these fucking real life human monsters and stuff that you deal with, it's scary that you're bringing up that situation about, you know, people already knowing about what this guy possibly did or potentially did. And it just goes, you know, you hear it on the news all the time in the last, you know, since news has been around. Well, the kid before he shot up the school was acting kind of strange or saying things online, or told a couple people he was going to kill this person or whatever. And then people just shrug it off like, ha ha ha. Man, there's got to be some kind of way to, there's got to be some, I don't know, there's probably a chat line or something, someone you can call or something, or to get this guy a fucking, some kind of test or something, an insanity test, or you know, some kind of reading to make sure that they're all there and okay, because that's just goes to show you had a guy that potentially at the time raped a hockey player that was 18 or 19 years old, and then you sent them to a college or university, or high school, 17-year-old high school, right?
No, it was a university.
So a university with that red flag on his that potential red flag on his profile, like, that shit needs to be stopped in the tracks right when you have a feeling.
Did it. Like,
yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, it's messed up. It's messed up, man. I hope that the world in general works towards a better solution for, you know, contacting someone with authority or whatever you want to call it, some helpline, and notifying them about, you know, what's going on with this person mentally, physically, blah, 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 if they feel uncomfortable around them or they're not right in the head. So I don't know.
Yep.
Scary. It's scary. That's for sure.
So yeah, there's
sometimes you can't take things with a grain of salt, man.
There's a lot of
unknown. What I mean?
There's a lot of unknown that hopefully will become known, and I think more needs to be done. I don't think it's over yet. But yeah, so okay, we'll just move on, because this could be a topic that'll just balloon forever.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, you could go on for a while about it, man. It's just crazy.
So around the league, real quick here, Arizona 1-11-1, only 21 goals scored, 54 against. That's a -33 differential. They're shit in the bed. They still don't have a home next season. Real quick, what happens to Arizona?
Your guess is as good as mine, Arch. Who the fuck do they have? They have Kessel and Keller. And other than that, there's a couple of older guys there like Stepan and shit like that. Oliver Ekman-Larsson's not there anymore. It's just like they don't have a home next year. There's no contract negotiations going on for a new arena, for a fucking old arena where they could play in Arizona somewhere. I don't know what's going to happen, but it kind of is sounding like a folded team by next year. And as I'm saying that, I hate when a team folds, but if it doesn't fucking work, it doesn't work. And being a Toronto Maple Leaf fan, on behalf of a Leafs fan, I would not like to see Austin Matthews have even the fucking right of way to try to go as an unrestricted free agent and have Arizona Coyotes in his sights. If they're not there, I believe Austin Matthews is the Toronto Maple Leaf for a lot longer, because the Leafs aren't going to let him go and they're going to pay him what he wants. Trust me, they're paying Matthews what he wants, regardless of Tavares and Marner and Nylander or whatever they're asking for. They get rid of those guys before Matthews. Matthews is the franchise player. He's the Rocket Richard Trophy winner. He's young. He's still got more to offer, and he's just scratching the surface still as a superstar in the league. And yeah, that being said, Arizona, my God, what an atrocious start to the season. I don't know what's going to happen there, but it does sound like a folding team to me. The fan base is fed up. Obviously, the arena owners don't want them playing there anymore. They're losing money. They're losing income and profit. Yep. That's just my guess. Within the next year or two, they are gone.
Couldn't agree more. Florida Panthers. And we'll talk about them and the Edmonton Oilers. So the Florida Panthers are 10-2-2. The Edmonton Oilers are 10-2-0. Are the Panthers for real? And are the Edmonton Oilers finally contenders?
Okay. I'm going to answer Florida. You answer Edmonton. This is quick. Florida is one of my favorite teams. I think that they have a good chance of coming out of the East and representing the East. I'm a Leafs fan. I've told you guys this the last show. Leafs fans before anything. I am. And I would like to see the Leafs come out of the East, go to the Stanley Cup final against who the hell knows who. But that being said, if it's not the Leafs, man, does Florida kind of just – I'm telling you, after I watched Florida face Tampa Bay last year in that first round, I don't think I've ever been so entertained and excited to watch a playoff hockey game that wasn't the Toronto Maple Leafs. It was just – the skill, the battle, the heart that these guys wore on their sleeves. They went into a war every fucking shift, and it was incredible for 7 games. And I think that Florida has what it takes. They got a great goalie. But that being said, I said this before Joe Quenneville stepped down as head coach. New coach comes in, changes up systems a little bit. I don't know what's going on. You had a Stanley Cup winning head coach recently. Now you don't got one. You were 10-0 with that you were 9-0 with that coach. Now you've lost a couple games without that coach being behind the bench. We will see what happens. I still do like what the Panthers are bringing, from their goalie all the way to their top center. So we'll see what happens. They have a good shot of competing for a Stanley Cup. Edmonton, sir, your thoughts?
Edmonton Oilers, 10-2-0. Are they contenders? I don't know if they're contenders. Are they better? Yes. Will they make the playoffs? No doubt. Are they contenders? I still think there's something not there. Something tells me goaltending has been great so far, but I don't know if it's going to be something that can last a whole season.
Bingo.
And you got to have a healthy McDavid and a healthy Draisaitl. You got to have Nugent Hopkins still playing the way he does. Zach Hyman still playing the way he is. They got to have this consistency throughout the year, but I think my hunch is they are still there's a problem in net, and I think that's going to be why they are not contenders. Definitely make the playoffs. It'll be entertaining to watch them play, but I don't think they are legit Stanley Cup contenders as they sit.
There you have it, bud. I totally agree with you. I was going to say everything looks good up and down the lineup. Even defense looks pretty good right now, but when it comes to the goalie situation, I'm sorry. When it comes to playoffs, any team that has won playoffs has a great fucking goalie. And is Koskinen and Mike Smith those goalies? I don't know. I'll tell you right now, I'd be very, very fucking shocked and surprised if they go do a Stanley Cup final with that goalie duo. So that being said, goalies can steal you Stanley Cups, and you need a fucking really good goalie to win a Stanley Cup. We've witnessed that recently. And, well, not recently. That's just the way it's always been. You've had your awesome Crawfords. You've had your Marc-Andre Fleury's. Binnington had that crazy half a year where he just didn't lose after Christmas. Holtby was at his best when he won a Stanley Cup for the Capitals. And Jonathan Quick for LA those 2 years, one of the best goalies in the league at that time. You're looking at really fucking good goalies. Vasilevsky, 2 fucking Stanley Cups in a row, one of the best goalies in the league. You are not going to win the Stanley Cup with Mike Smith or Koskinen. That's just my opinion.
All right, we seem to be on the same page there.
Yeah.
Leafs and Flames are about to kick off real quick. Leafs talk. John Tavares expected back in the lineup tonight. I love the John Tavares that we've been seeing the last little bit. Our big names are performing. Willie Nylander is having an exceptional year so far. Mitch Marner, monkey off the back. He's doing fantastic. Austin Matthews, I'm still struggling with. He's improved his 200-foot game. His defensive game last game was unbelievable. Skating up and down the ice like a machine. He was just everywhere. Something is still off with his shot. I feel like he's not there. He's not comfortable. His release isn't the same. His accuracy is definitely not the same. He's also run into some hot goalies. I'm not going to take that away from him. But I feel like I'm expecting more. Maybe I'm a little hard on him being a Leaf fan, but I'm expecting a little more out of Austin Matthews. What do you think there?
I like what Austin's done the last 5 games or so. I think he's back being Austin Matthews. I would rather not see him. I think this is what you're talking about a little bit here, is that one-timer on the power play just isn't working for him, man. I'm sorry. He just doesn't have he can work on it all he wants, and I hope that it comes through, because that's a fucking lethal weapon. If you can hit that right and get it low blocker side, which most goalies are from where he wants to shoot it from, then so be it. But right now, that one-timer, his wrist shot, I mean, we seen him score that beautiful feed from Nylander or Marner recently, and he just ripped it past, I think it was, who was it against there? Could have been, it was Boston. I think it was Allmark.
Yeah.
But he ripped one. The wrist looked great. It was a fucking beautiful shot, but he's trying that one-timer, and it's just not doing it for me. He's going high. He's missing the net. But overall, Austin Matthews is Austin Matthews. He's all around the net. He's gonna pick up his points. He's the best Leaf player we have on the team, 100% hands down. Willie Nylander, yeah, he's on a tear. Keep her going. Most underrated Leaf. I feel like this kid could score 40 goals this year. We'll see what happens. He stays healthy. The shot is unbelievable. He gets into open spaces right now. His control of the puck and puck possession is off the charts right now. He's always been a good puck possession kind of player. Marner's finally woke up, like you said, Johnny T. What more can you ask from a 31, 32-year-old captain of the Leafs that is coming off a little bit of a scary incident last year? He looks like he's he's ready to go. He's putting the puck in the net. He's battling in the corners. He looks a little bit quicker, getting off the boards too right now, getting towards the net a little bit more. I love that. Campbell, best game I've ever seen him play versus Tampa Bay. What a fucking game. It was him versus Vasilevsky, and he came out on top. Jack Campbell's doing Jack Campbell things. Starting to really, really believe we have a solidified number 1 goalie in Soup. So, and I love the crowd with the Soup chants. Yep. It's fucking elevates the building. I really like that. Other than that, Sandin's been a little awkward this year. I feel like he's giving up the puck a lot, not making the right fucking plays. He's getting beat to pucks. Hall's been out, came back, played a pretty decent game with Muzzin last game. Wayne Simmons, I think this guy should have 5 goals this year. He's been all over the net. He's been going to the net hard. He gets his puck on. He gets his stick on the puck, tips it in. They're just not going in, but he's so fucking close. He's snake bitten. I think Wayne Simmons is going to start fucking popping some in. I think it starts tonight against a team that's gritty like fucking Calgary. I think Wayne Simmons pops a goal tonight. And Spezza and Spezza's been playing well, and Richie, I mean, other than last game, I know that you have a lot to say about Richie, Archie. Where the fuck has this guy been? 4th line demotion, and he just doesn't he just to me, it's the speed of the game. He just doesn't look like he has any type of fucking speed or momentum or fucking. He doesn't have no boost in his step. Like, he's just going through the motions, and he finishes a hit once in a while. But other than that, man, I don't know. Park your ass in front of the net and at least tip pucks and get into the dirty areas, I guess, or maybe drop the gloves once in a while, do something. But other than that, that's my Leafs review. Everyone else, I was hoping Mikheyev would be back soon, because he was looking fucking pretty dynamite in training camp in that first game or two. So we'll see what happens there. And overall, we'll see what happens with the Leafs. I'm excited. They're coming together as a team recently. They're on a winning record in the last 8 games or so. They're on a 5-3. So we'll see what happens. But go Leafs, go as always.
Yeah. So, okay. You mentioned everything about the right players, so I'm not even going to repeat it all. Real quick here, Jennifer says, do you guys think the Leafs are better this year than last? Not wait for the playoffs just as far as they come now? No.
Too early to tell for me.
At this point, in comparison, no. We are definitely not a better team in comparison. And I'm talking like where we're at this year compared to last year. No. I had a lot more confidence in last year's team. That being said, I'd rather not be overconfident. I honestly thought last year was a freaking good shot at doing something, and we all know what happened. Jack Campbell, 110% has shown and earned the respect and the position and everything. The guy is so humble. I don't think I've ever seen a Leaf player, let alone goalie, be as well-spoken, as thankful, as just such a freaking all-around good guy than I have in Jack Campbell. He is just unreal. Never accepts a compliment. It's always, I won the game, but I got to thank my defenseman for this, for bailing me out. I got to thank the guys for scoring goal.
Very modest, for sure.
You've earned the right to say, I made some big fucking saves and kept this team alive. That game against Tampa, unreal. By far, the most stressful regular season game I have watched my life. And it was just save after save. Both goalies were unbelievably amazing. And Campbell stole the show and got the win for us. That is what you need out of a goalie to steal those kinds of games. And it's not just any game. It's against 2-time defending Stanley Cup champions. What a game. What a game. Yeah. It was just the best game to watch. Justin Hall. I'm very disappointed in his play this year compared to last year. I was expecting bigger things out of him. He's also not finishing hits.
Yeah, for sure. I agree with you there, man. I think that his game's there, but he's just not as aggressive in the corners as he was the last year or two. He's such a big frame, and he hasn't been throwing the body or out muscling guys and winning puck battles. But he'll go on. I agree with you.
Exactly, and I've described his look on his face. He's got a case of the Dion Phaneufs. The Leafs get scored on, camera pans to Justin Hall, and he's got this what happened look. It's like he didn't know what was going on. So healthy scratch, I think 3 straight games, maybe 4. I don't remember. I think it was 3. Back the other night, still didn't do much, but I think there's a lot more of a scope on Nick Ritchie. He got that assist. Fantastic pass. Should have had a goal just before he made that pass. But you're right. It's like he's trying to catch up to the game. He almost looks like the skill of Phil Kessel in the body of Joe Thornton. He shouldn't be skating that slow at his age.
Yeah.
But he's got no pickup in his step whatsoever. I hate to say it. Pierre Engvall skates better than him. But I will say, guys, for everybody who was knocking me when I was ripping apart Pierre Engvall, we saw Pierre Engvall. He came, he saw, he conquered for himself. And I think that's all we're going to see. We're not going to see any dazzle from Pierre Engvall for the rest of the year. He may have a couple good games here and there, but he peaked. He came too soon, and I'm not excited about that. I feel like I would have rather him spread his talent, skill, if you want to call it that, but he brought it in all at once, and I don't think we're going to see it again. But
that being said, I think when Mikheyev comes back, I think Engvall is the odd man out. Yeah. So,
and as far as the rest of the team goes, I think Jason Spezza, I love watching what he does at practice. The other day they showed him ripping shots from the icing line, 5 shots straight, trying to like hit top corners, and he hit a post and I think scored 4 out of the 5 shots he took. And in that game that night, the last game they played against Philly, we saw him try it. A one-timer from the freaking icing line, and he almost buried it. So I love the dedication of Jason Spezza. He definitely shows leadership skills. I'd even say he deserves to have a freaking A on his jersey over some of the younger guys that have it. He's just a heart and soul warrior kind of player. Really happy he's still with the team. Simmons, snake bitten, can't catch a freaking break. Every time you see him skating, you have such expectations of this could be it, and then it just doesn't work for him.
He goes to all the right places too. Yeah, he just can't bury, man.
I'd like to see him play a more physical game and just maybe forget about the goal scoring and just play that fourth line grinder player, be a pain in the ass to play against, physically abuse the other teams. I'd like to see that out of him more. And I really hope somehow the Leafs find a way to get Ho-Sang into the Leafs lineup because he's doing really well with the Marlies.
Yeah, what's his stats? I read them like 5 days ago, and I was like, what the fuck? Doesn't he have like 7 goals or something already? He has like 12 points in like 12 games or some shit.
I'm going to pull them up really quick because now
pull him up because I seen it and I was like, okay, this guy's like, he has like 7 goals and 0 assists.
He's got 7 points in 8 games, 6 of which are goals. So
yeah,
he's impressive. So
let's go.
I'd like to see the Leafs find a way to bring that money, do what they got to do, because right now he's only on a one-way deal with the Marlies. So how do you do that? Well, if you got to get rid of Hall, you got to get rid of Hall. Like, I don't know what to say. Nick Ritchie, I feel like they should give him till after Christmas. If he's still not there, and I'm being generous to say after Christmas because that might be a bit too late. Give him till after Christmas, and if he's not earning that spot, find a way to move Nick Ritchie because it's not working out. I hope the last game allows him to come out of that shell that he's been in and that we see an improvement in Nick Ritchie, and I hope we see more of that. Fantastic.
Yeah.
I hope we see John Tavares keep doing what he's doing because he's having a hell of a season already.
Yeah.
Him, Nylander, and Marner are all 3 tied for 13 points. Top 3 for the Leafs scoring. Not impressive. We have nobody in the double digits when it comes to goals just yet. But I'd like to see the consistency throughout the entire team. When our big players are performing, we need the supporting cast to also perform. It can't be one or the other. And that's what's hurting. Because right now, our big guys are doing their job. They're earning their paychecks. But the rest of the team is disappearing. We can't have that happen. We need to have participation from all around.
Yeah.
So, yeah. Jack Campbell, I feel bad for Mrazek, injured again.
Yeah.
After he came back and had that great game, he won, and now he's out again. Groin injuries suck. And if they don't heal properly, they'll keep coming back and biting you. And it sucks because you don't want to see that happen to a goalie.
Yeah, you got to take your time with those for sure.
Right. So now we've got Jack Campbell starting tonight. Tomorrow, we don't know. Is it going to be, do we get to see the debut of
Wall?
Yeah.
Joseph Wall.
Do we see Wall make his debut or do we see them go back to freaking Hutchinson? I think Hutchinson should never see another game in the NHL.
Yeah, like give the new kid a shot for fuck's sake.
Cut that cord. Hutchinson has not worked 3 times now. He's not meant for the Leafs. Maybe he'll do better somewhere else again. I don't know, but bring up Wall, let him have a shot at it. But Jack Campbell is our guy. I love it. I love watching him play. I love watching the confidence when he plays. He gets better and better each game, making big saves. Already has 2 shutouts against good teams. So, yeah, I'm excited. And I'm excited to see this game tonight because Calgary is not a team to roll over on. They're a good team. We know that.
Doing better this year for sure.
They're a fighting team. They're really good. So I'd like to see some of that. I'd like to see Jake Muzzin bring some more grit on the ice, some more of that energy. Our defense just seems so soft, and I don't like it. I don't like players getting too close to Campbell because that's how goalies get hurt. So we need our defense to step up and be a little tougher and be jerks about it. But other than that, I'm excited for tonight's game. I'm predicting a 5-2 Leafs win. I don't know why. 5-2.
I like it. I like the prediction, man. Let's go. I'm going to predict a Leafs 3-1 win.
3-1.
Yeah.
All right.
I like it. And also just want to say, Michael Bunting, great acquisition. I like the way the kid's been playing. Just go to the net hard. He gets under the skin of the opponents a little bit. He's a little bit gritty. I like that. He brings a different factor, an X factor for the Leafs, and he's been doing well on that top line. So
absolutely. Michael Bunting, great acquisition. Loved it. Loved when he got his first goal, and he's just dynamite. He's a firecracker when he's on the ice. Always getting in there, causing shit, being that Kadri type player, but with a lot more discipline.
Yeah.
So I like it. Definitely a great acquisition for them, considering what he's earning. So hopefully we'll see more of him. I'd love to see him get more productivity. But even if he just keeps doing what he's doing, I'm okay with that too.
It's sustainable for sure.
Absolutely. So outside of that, guys, we had a hell of a show tonight. We jam-packed it as much as we could. It's game time. It's 0-0 still. Bit of a delay in starting the game. I'm not sure why, but they are 3 minutes in, 0-0, and I say we go catch that game.
Sounds good, Archie. Let's go watch the Leafs and Calgary Flames. Good old fucking Canadian battle, and hopefully the Leafs come out on top. But everyone, just on behalf of me and Archie, have a great weekend. And Archie, thanks again for doing the show. I know we missed the last couple of weeks, but hey, we're here with hockey updates every week. We'll be back next week for all your hockey knowledge and hockey education on the hockey topics of the league and around the league. So great chatting with you guys. Another great show. And we love keeping you guys updated and talking hockey. So enjoy your weekends. Have fun. Have a beer. Have a glass of wine. Eat some wings. Have some wings and fries. Whatever you're doing, man. Enjoy it. Chill out. And we'll be back next week, man.
Absolutely, guys. And before we let you go, as always, feel free to support The Buzz and everything else that we do in all of our other shows. Thanks again for tuning in. We'll see you guys next week.
You where's the competition? Bring on the competition. We need some competition. Y'all ain't no competition. It's time to ball. Yeah, shawty, time to brawl. Cause see, we about to stomp y'all.